Hello, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful session. My name is Victor. I'm a senior data associate with Analytics, and I will be showing you how to use Tableau to create a quick report in not more than 15 minutes. Let's go straight in. Now, so Tableau is a business intelligence tool, okay, and we'll be using it to analyze and visualize data. Okay, so let me import the two tables I will be using. One is called the store data. Okay, and I will bring in the second table. The second table is called the master product. Okay, now that I have brought in these two tables, I want to create a connection. All right, now Tableau automatically creates a connection for me with the product ID. So it means the column product ID appears on both tables. All right. So in the master product, it's a primary key. In the store data, it's a foreign key. Okay. Meaning that in the master product, it's a unique feature. All right. Every other entity within the master product explains more about the product ID. All right. That's what makes it a primary key. All right. So now that I've brought in the data set, it's connected. I will go straight to my first sheet where I will do my visualization and we will get on straight. All right. So again, we're about to do all this in not more than 15 minutes. Now in Tableau, okay, every single sheet is for a single visual or visualization. All right. So one sheet, one visualization. So if you had 10 visualizations, you need 10 different sheets. Now, these are the data sets I brought in a few moments ago. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to write two calculated fields. The first one is going to be my product ID, okay, from my master product table. So I right click on it. I go to create and calculated field. All right. So I'm just going to rename it number of products. Okay. Now I want to do a count to this effect. Okay. Because I want to count the number of unique products. Okay. So I'm doing a count and I just copy that and paste that inside. Since it's a valid calculation, I will apply and click OK. Now, in Tableau, there is usually a division. Now, these things here in blue, as you can see them, they are called the dimension field. And the ones in green are called the measure field. Now, it's because these are numbers, all right? The measures are numbers, all right? So we've created a calculated field. Let's create another one to sum up the sales, okay? So to sum up the sales, I think I want to call that total sales, and I'll use the sum. Yeah, so I can copy my sales column and put it inside. And there you have it. All right. Now we're going to create our first visual using what we've just done. Now, the very first visual, what I want to find is the subcategory based on the total number of products we have. Okay, so I'm just going to look for my subcategory, which is under the master product table. I take it to rows. Okay, now the arrangement is such that you know rows are horizontal, right? And columns are vertical. So if I put this on the vertical, which is columns, it appears the other way, okay? But the right way to do it is I put that on rows and I put my number of products on columns. This gives me a bar graph, okay? This gives me a bar graph. Now, I can arrange this just simply clicking this here, or you can actually use this one, okay? It's now in descending order. I can right click here and remove that. Now I can actually come click label so I can see my data labels here, okay? Now, one more feature. I want to check how my total sales is involved in this. So I'll just bring in my total sales and I'll put it in color. Now you can see the variation, okay? That even though paper has more sales, okay, paper has more number of products, okay, but in terms of sales, phones are more, okay. So more purchases were made on, sorry, more sales funds were gotten from phones than was gotten from paper, even though more papers were sold. All right, so that's a good insight to have. All right, let's go to our next visual. So the next visual, we're trying to have, so the product category, okay? Product category by sum of sales, okay? Now, this is a product category, okay? Product category, all right? Now, sum of sales, which is total sales. So you can see what it looks like. But I want to present this as a pie chart. Okay, so how do I do that? What I simply need to do is I need to create another calculated field, which I will call 0. Okay, 0. And of course, what will be inside here would be 0. Now, you don't need to crack your head too much about getting familiar with how to create calculated fields on Tableau. Practice gives birth to perfection. Okay, so I'm going to drag this here. Remember, I want to find the sales distribution among the product category. Okay, so now I brought the 0 here, the calculated field. Then I come to marks and I will change this to a pie. Okay, it's a pie chart. Now I'm gonna redo that again, bring another 0. So you see, you seem to have two charts. Okay, now that's not a problem. So this is the first pie, this is the second pie. If I want to increase the size, I just go up here and entire view. Okay, so I make it the entire view. All right, so I'm going to increase the size of the very first one. I increase the size of the very first one. Now you get to see why, because I want to put this second one in the first. How do I do that? If I right click on the second one, I scroll down, I'm going to say it's a dual axis. So you see that they are merged, but you can tell that there are two. So from the second one, I'm going to change the color to white. Can you see? So a donut chart is coming out of this. Okay. All right, then. What do I do next? I'm just going to go to the first one. Okay. And I'm going to drag my products category and I'm going to put it on that color. You see the colors changed. Okay. Then I'm going to still take product category and put it on that label. So now the titles come out, right? Then I'm going to take total sales so that I can see the distribution of sales, all right? And I put it, okay, that's very good. So now that I've brought out the total sales, I can right click on it here. If I right click on total sales, I can reduce the numbers to nearest billions. Okay. So I will click on B for billion. So you can see it's reduced to the nearest billion. Okay. So now I want to show the total sales here in this second pie. So what do? All I need to do is drag the total sales into label. You can see here, all right, this is the total sales. If you add everything together, you should get this number. If I click on label, edit, so you'll see that this is the total sales we just added. Hit enter key, go up and write total sales. And once I click on OK, you can see this, all right? Okay, just for a little more editing, I can actually highlight this and make it bold, just so it turns out much better. Okay, so that's our second chart done. Our third one. So the third one, we're going to do a sales by month, okay? We want to see the distribution of sales over a couple of months. Now, we don't have months out here, but we have dates. Now, like I said, Tableau is a business intelligence tool, so it can actually do some intelligent things. So I'm going to take my order dates, okay? Now, if I click here and here, so my month is out, so I can drag and remove the year, drag and remove the quarter. So my month is out. So I have January to December. Okay. Now I want to see my sales across this period of time. If I put this here, I'm going to have a single chart, a single line chart, which shows trend. Okay. But I'm concerned with the categories. Okay. So I'm going to drag categories and put it on that color. See what happens. It segregates the three categories: furniture, office supplies, and technology. Okay. Now, I will not take too much time on the editing. I can hide that field, yes. Okay, so you can see we're done with the third chart. Okay, now we want to put in something that will look like a slicer. Okay, so that we can use it to filter our data sets. What am I going to do? I'm going to double click on the column. I'm just going to put in 1, hit enter. Okay, then I'm going to drag order dates and put it in label. Do you see? It's labeled. Now, something else I could do, I could actually leave it like this. Okay, I could leave it like this and right click here and remove this. Okay, so I could actually leave it like this. So my date would filter. Okay, now it is not a filter yet. It is not a filter yet at all. If I right click on the top, I can hide the title also. Let's say I don't want to see the title. For the rest, I would change the titles soon, so I don't need to hide those. Okay. All right. So let us continue. Now, one final chart I want to do is what ship mode. Okay. What is a ship mode? that brings in the highest money? Meaning, when people pay for the goods, what ship mode do they subscribe for? Okay, so this is ship mode. So I'm just going to take ship mode to column. So it's going to bring the outcomes in verticals. All right. So I can use total sales because I'm just focused on sales this time around. So it's giving me a column chart. Okay. A column chart. Okay. All right. So it's giving me a column chart. So at the 15-hour mark, we've been able to create our last chart. But now that it's giving me a column chart, I can arrange this in descending order. Okay. Just here. All right. Then I can bring in my category again to color so I can just see the difference. All right. Just to see the difference. Okay. All right. So what we can also do at this point, we've been able to create all the charts. So I can right click on this. Okay. I think I can actually leave that as ship mode. Remove the title. Remove the y-axis. I can give it a label. Yeah. Okay. Now, the way this appears, it doesn't look the greatest. Okay. Doesn't look the greatest at all. Now, what can I do about it? What can I do about it? Now, if I bring in my total sales here, it will enable me format the data label. Okay, so enable me format the data label and I make it the nearest billions. Okay, so you can see the difference, right? So I can now, based on ship mode, I can change the color. Okay, but let's say I want the red to be the bigger one. I can click on color, edit. So I'll click on the bigger one, which is standard red. Click on the next one. I'll just make it this green. Okay. And that is it. That is it. Okay. So far, so good. You have five, you have 5 charts or 5 visuals, and you're going to create a dashboard. Okay. 5 visuals, you're going to create a dashboard. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I right click on this. I want to hide the field label. Okay. Let me see if I can give this a name. So I double clicked on the title and I'll just call it category, subcategory by number of products. Okay. I could centralize it and just leave it at that. Okay. I could go to the next one. Now for this, I will just call it, let's see, product category sales. And this one I will also centralize and okay. Now a little more editing. I can right click here, click on that, show header, and that will be gone. I can also remove this line, the dotted line, So if I right click and go to format workspace, so I will see lines, and I'll go to grid lines, the horizontal. Let me close that. So the horizontal, I can turn that off. Okay. I go to 0 lines. I can also turn that off. Okay, let me try that again. Yeah, I can turn that off. 0 lines. So you can see the lines are off now. Okay. The lines are off. All right. Okay. So the next chart, what I can do is I will name this one monthly sales. Monthly sales. Monthly product sales. Okay. So I'll centralize it. Click on OK. Now, the data set will be made available for you, okay, in the description below. So please feel free to work with the data set as much as you would like. All right. So, okay. So what I could do is edit axis. I'm just gonna take off. I'm gonna take that off. Okay. So the numbers will be there, but the title itself will not be there. Okay, because I don't need the title. All right. So I think I can leave this in the color blue. All right, I can leave it in the color blue. And the fifth one, I can leave it like this. Okay, so now to create a dashboard, you can see this. You can see this sheet. It's called new dashboard. So if I click on it, now everything is untiled. So as I drag and drop, I can drag another one in and drop. Okay. Oh, okay. So I think I would prefer this one here. Okay. So I can drag the third one in and drop. Okay. Now, haven't seen how this looks. It looks a little messy. All right. Yes, it actually does look a little messy. Let me remove this. Okay. So I think there is one more. I drag, I drop. Okay. And I drag and I drop. Okay, so these are all the 5 visuals I used. Okay, all 5 visuals. Now, based on what I've done here, you can see that this doesn't look so good. Okay, so I'm gonna reverse the steps. I'm gonna reverse the steps. Okay, and instead of bringing them in as tiled, I'm gonna make them floating, which makes it much more easier to arrange. Okay, makes it much more easier to arrange. All right, much easier to arrange once it's floating. All right, I'm just gonna click on this. They come together. Okay, so I'm trying to make it slimmer so that it fits. Okay, There's still more space, by the way. There's still more space, so I can take this down. Okay. Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay. Doesn't look bad at all. Okay. So there's still much space. So I'll just send that down a bit. Okay. Now that looks like what I'm looking for. So I can take this down here. Yeah, in between one another. So you're fine. Okay. Even though there's still a lot more space up here. Okay, let me bring in the rest and we will decide. Okay, I'll bring in the rest and we'll decide. So the second one is this chart. Okay, so I'm gonna turn off this because of course you can see the data labels here. So you don't need another data label hanging in front of you. Okay. Okay. All right. So the third one, now this third one, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand it well. Okay. So I'm going to expand it well. Let me take this one away. Okay. Yeah, this looks a little bit more like what I want. Okay, so then I can consider bringing this legend here. It sits very good at that point. Okay. Then I think I have a fourth. Okay, so this was the slicer. Okay, so for this one, I'm just going to I'm going to hide the title. Okay, now I'm going to do something interesting with it. I'm going to do something interesting with it. I'm going to use it as a filter. Now, what does that mean? If I click on one of it, everything else changes. Okay, so I click on 2016, everything changes. Okay, everything changes. That's what it means to use something as a filter. Okay, all right then. I think there's one more chart left. And this is the final chart. I'm just gonna take this one off because of course you can see the legend already. It has the proper label, so it doesn't need. And I'm gonna, okay, so I'm gonna edit the title. Ship mode and sales returns. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna call it. I'll centralize it and I'm gonna hit the OK button. I can now remove this one, hide field label. All right. So I will just drag this down. I will drag this down. Okay. Just trying to make the symmetry. Okay, so I think that's it. Now for this other one, it will be nicer if I just put this inside here and drew that up a bit. So the symmetry is perfect. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so that's why you find that sometimes I drag many times. Okay, so you've been able to see now, this is just created in a little bit above 15 minutes, but we had finished creating the chart itself in 15 minutes. Maybe one more thing I want to do is is there anything I would like to change? Well, not at the moment. At least from now, you can see the visual. Okay, it looks like there's still a lot of space here. Okay. Okay. So from here, you can see a quick report based on the data set. More can be done, yes, but this is just a quick report for you to see, right? So if you're not so pleased with the color, if you're not so pleased with the color blue, maybe you could consider other colors. Okay, you could consider other colors. There are many options to consider from. Okay, many options to consider from. And if you go back and check what it looks like now, this seems a little more moderate. Okay, so you have your sales and you can filter your sales in the month based on the years. Okay, so you see the sales in 2015, you see it in 2016, in 2017. You see how it affects every single thing. Okay, 2018. You see how everything is affected. So you can tell that technology still was the highest sale in 2018. And that's what it takes to create a report in a little bit above 15 minutes. And you could always publish this. Okay, you could always publish it. So now it's published. So everybody on Tableau Tableau Public can view exactly what you've done. I hope you've been able to learn something. And once again, my name is Victor. I'm a senior data associate with analytics, and I will see you some other time. Bye for now.